I have so many thoughts on this Nico Iamaleava situation that I've decided I'm finally gonna start the YouTube channel that I said I would start months ago, also years ago. But better late than never. That's a saying that they say, except for when it comes to the Nico situation, because probably should have just been never, you know? Unfortunately, all my stories start with Iowa getting their ass kicked, and that is exactly what happened with this one as well. His first big shining moment was kicking the shit out of Iowa in some Florida Bowl. He was a really highly touted player. He was the number two quarterback in his class. It was a big deal for Tennessee to have him, and they went through like hell and back to get Nico to Knoxville and have him eligible. And he was fine this season. And I don't mean to discredit the fact that he took them to the playoff. That is not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do in the SEC, and there should be a lot of credit given to that. It wasn't a Tennessee offense that was going to change your life. The days of Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt were kind of over. This was a Tennessee team that relied on their very good defense and a Tennessee team that had an offense that was stagnant. I sat through the first half of Alabama, Tennessee. And as someone who willingly watches a ton of Iowa football, I can tell you when there's an unpleasant offense. And Tennessee finished like 10th in passing yards in the SEC. It was not a bad year by any means, but not a year where I was like, this guy is it. So here we are today, where last week you're getting rumblings that Nico is sitting out of practice. He won't be in the spring game. He's holding out over a contract dispute, which, yeah, I guess is the new day and age of college football. What are you going to do? When Nico signed his deal with Tennessee, the estimated net worth of what that deal would be is $8 to $10 million. And so Nico was set to make $2.4 million this season and decided, hey, we went to the playoff last year. I should be making more money. I am assuming that this decision wasn't something that popped up in the spring. Obviously, we have learned, especially from what Kirby Smart said like about a week ago, of the fact that there are now Zoom calls that all coaches are invited to, where agents will just go through the list of players available. These things are happening well outside of the transfer portal window. The transfer portal windows are a myth. Eventually, Josh Heupel is like, you know what? $4 million, what you're asking for, is not worth it. It's not worth the headache, and we don't think your play is worth that. He didn't say any of this exactly. I'm paraphrasing. I'm doing my Josh Heupel impression right now. That's what I would say if I was Josh Heupel. They decide to part ways. He says, thanks for what you've done for the program. We appreciate it. See you in the portal on Wednesday. I think that Nico and his team, emphasis on his team, because I don't think this was a decision that came to be on his own. I do think you have people telling you what they think your evaluation is. You have agents and managers and whatnot trying to make money off of, this really talented young athlete. Like, it's just the nature of the game now, unfortunately. So I think Nico and his team made a bad decision that's going to hurt Nico and Tennessee. I think Nico and his team felt pretty confident based off the conversations they had had with other schools that they are worth the money that they thought they were worth, $4 million instead of $2.4 million. And Tennessee called their bluff. So now you are forced to enter the portal in a spring market where there just isn't as much money around. Teams have already found their quarterback and have already allotted the money that they are going to pay their new transfer players. And my thing with Nico is he was not the most fantastic player I've ever seen in my life this season. He was good, but he was not life-changingly good that you're going to feel comfortable having already made all your financial decisions for your spring team, what's coming up, to be like, you know what, let's give him $4 million, especially after the way this played out. This is not a good look for anybody involved. Are you going to want to sign a player who has already had issues? Not that these issues might be Nico's fault, but when you're signing a player in this day and age, you're signing their agent and you're signing their manager as well. Is that what you want to deal with? If Tennessee wasn't willing to pony up the cash for $4 million for him to stay, I don't know who else will. I do not know the direct amount of what Tennessee's NIL fund brings in. I don't know. A lot of that information is still private and none of it's accurate, I'm assuming. But Tennessee, as an athletic department, makes a decent amount of money. They're considered one of the top 10 most valuable athletic departments in the country. Their athletic fundraising this year brought in $140 million, the most in school history. And Tennessee is an athletic department that's already ahead of the curve. If you remember, just a couple months back, Tennessee announced they were raising prices 10% to include a talent fee that will go to NIL. And their fans are nuts. They're lunatics. They sing Rocky Top 500 times a day. You think they're not going to give a little extra money? You think they're not donating to the NIL fund? I can tell you they are. And for that program to say that price is not worth it for us is telling. And according to reports, Nico and his team are looking for more than $4 million a season now. And I just don't know where you're going to get that. And you've already eliminated one of the Power Five conferences. SEC transfer rules prohibit you from getting immediate eligibility if you enter the spring portal and you transfer to another SEC school. I don't want this to be some like grand statement monologue about the state of college football and NIL and the need for regulation. Yay, I get all that. I personally am just not smart enough to figure that out. There are wiser minds than mine to put that together. But overall, this is just like, this is the situation that we're going to see going forward. This is not going to be a one-time thing. And I think that everybody took a hit because Tennessee, you just lost your starting quarterback. That's not great. Nico, you have put yourself in a situation where you don't have as many options as you could. And you might end up making less money because I don't know what he's going to get paid. It is sad to see, and like I want to emphasize this again. I really do think there are people in his corner giving him bad advice. I hope this works out for Nico. I really do. I want him to succeed. I want him to get paid, and I want Tennessee to find a quarterback that works. Do I think that happens? No. This whole thing has just been like something that I've really sat and thought about for the last few days, so much so that it inspired me to do more work. And I never choose that for myself, ever. I think I did a pretty good job. For my first YouTube video, I probably need a better setup, but I live in New York and there's only so much you can do, you know? I have been told that I should be asking you to like, comment, subscribe, tell me I'm pretty, those four things. And I am a quitter in nature, and I have definitely been known to not see immediate results and quit in my lifetime. And if you like this video, you probably don't want me to quit, right? And there's nothing stopping from me from quitting. I love quitting. Love, some comments if there's any other things in college football you want me to talk about or other things, not college football, because I'm gonna start trying again until I don't get the results I want, and then I'm gonna quit. So.